Hey, it's Monday, October 20th. I'm John Zidar, and this is On Top and Hot, brought to you by Pennybois. I'm sure you know about PB alerts. Everybody loves those, but you need to focus in on the training. That is worth a lot more than the alerts are. What I do each day here is I go do some DD. We look for stocks on the OTC market that are going to move. Hopefully tomorrow, this week. We try to keep it close, but if we see something that's going to just surge and surge, we want to jump onto that long-running train as well. Today, I am focusing in on stocks I found with shareholder value. They have done something and have something that just give us a lot more value for what we are giving them. And I thought that is always of interest. Get more than you give. So let's go jump into this right now and see what I got. Alright, as is my standard practice, I initially begin all of my due diligence and research on an OTC stock at otcmarkets.com. This is the only site where FINRA and SEC puts all this information for OTC stocks. This is current information. Why go looking through Google and sorting it out? Might as well start here and branch out from here. So the first one we're going to take a look at here is SBDG, Small Business Development Group. They are at $1.80 right now, and they did 50% gains today, which was up 60 cents. They are pink current. They are on the pink market. They have a verified profile. They have transfer agent verified. That's all good. And they are a shell risk, meaning they're not making any revenues. Let's go check that out since they brought it up. They were making money a long time ago, 2013, but as you can see since then, it has been empty, which is why we are basically here today. They have had news, a lot of news actually, but primarily the last piece of news caps off a lot of what they've been doing. The company went back into business, I guess you could say, about 2 years ago, and they said they were going into the business of acquiring other small businesses. And for the next year, they had a lot of letters, which are actually called MOUs, Memorandums of Understanding. They had a bunch of those back then, which is far from a letter of intent and definitely not a signed agreement. But they were laying groundwork. Then here recently, they did acquire a sports merchandise company. They acquired 3000 Appraisal, which is a house appraisal online business that they're spreading across the country, and another one. And then the very last one is really what set everything in motion. This is what made it clear what they were defining to do. It says right here, acquire, grow, exit. That is our plan. We acquire the target, an established company with strong management. We work with the management team to grow its asset and revenue base while our executives groom the portfolio company to become a publicly traded company. When the time is right, we then spin out the portfolio company into its own independent publicly traded company. When the spin-out occurs, SBDG will declare a dividend in the kind to its shareholders in the form of equities in the new public company, which is nothing new. This happens all the time, but when you have a company purposely putting companies out there, that is what their aim is. They're just not happen to fall into the situation. That is their directional push. You want to be a part of that because you can end up with free shares in a lot of companies. And right now they've just acquired 3. If you want to count this one, 4. So this is what has got this stock moving. Now, how much was it moving? Let's see what its volume was today. Relatively speaking, it was definitely up. They do 32,000 shares a day. Today they did 133,000. It's not humongous. It's not giant. But we're not talking about the stock itself running. We're talking about shareholder value. The stock is going to grow because people will see that. And that's why it jumped today. People are responding to this sort of news. It isn't catalyst in the sense of we've merged or we've got great revenues. But speaking of revenues, they're going to be making money now. They have these companies which they will be pulling revenues out of. So everything is changing for them. What is their share structure? We would like to see a low float. Well, of course, I'm going to bring you a low float. That's just more shareholder value. Look at that float, folks. Under 1 million, and this is verified. This is verified. You go to one of their press releases for the share buyback. They only have 10 million shares out there, but they say there's some unrestricted shares in there they want to get rid of. So the insiders are buying them back. Now, that's not going to affect the float, but they did mention that number as being the correct float. So we have less than 1 million shares in a company that is going to be seen as giving shareholder value. So this company has a lot of potential to deliver. What else can we learn over here? What do their financials look like? We done looked at that. What we haven't looked at is the charts. So let's go see what a low float on this company looks like on the long haul. So we're going to look at SBDG on my TOS platform. That is Thinkorswim. You can get it for free. Just go sign up for a free account at TD Ameritrade. You don't need my affiliate link. Just Google it, sign up. You don't even have to trade with them. Voila, you got it. You're doing what I'm doing. All right, this is the 5-day, 5-minute chart. You can see she's had some big run-throughs here, some dips and some runs. But let's back out. Let's take a good 4-hour look and actually get to know this stock. Well, that is definitely an impressive last few days. So this news came out on the 18th. When did this bump start? On the 14th. So we may want to go look. I think they actually had another company that they secured on the 14th. But all of this is building momentum. It is definitely launching. You can see she just kind of meandered across the last few months, had a few pokes, but you know, this is back when they were just setting the groundwork. I think the groundwork is set and they're taking off. All right, let's come back into that 5-minute. 5-day, 5-minute. Now, this line here is a very strong support. It is where the price is sitting right now, but coincidentally, maybe not, it cuts right through this strong surge right there, right in the middle of the bar, and it sits on top of here. Now, where did I get it from? I actually just went to here. I love to draw my middle lines. I think they're very important. Big surges have big relevance. They're like planets. They got gravity. So I like to put the line in there because things tend to come to that line. And as you can see, it definitely did. Went down about halfway, came back up halfway, hit a high while it was up here, and landed right smack dab on top of that. Now, coming back, let's just say 20 days. All right, you can see we started to climb here, really got a good push, and from down here we were at 32 cents and it went up to $1.81. You're talking over 500% gains right there, folks. She took a strong dip. She gave back, oh, I don't know, maybe 250% there, but she took another giant bounce. Her steps look to be very large. She looks to be taking large steps, stepping down, a large step, stepping down. So one might expect her to take another large step. Now would be a very good time to consider what this stock presents to you. Shareholder value by a super low float, you get big bounces. And just so you know, each one of these bounces is in 1 hour. Let's bring that down to 15 minutes. Let's get a 15-minute bounce there from 238 to 190. Yeah, you got yourself about a 33% bounce there. That's going to be about a 45% bounce in 15 minutes, folks. That's what a low float gives you. Big movements when the stock gets volume. And look, it wasn't a giant amount of volume to make that happen. Not much at all. Now, how did she end on the day? All right, we had some volume at the end of the day, but it was selling. Even though the MACD is pushing up, the RSI was coming down into the middle ground. You don't get a whole lot of action there. So she is settled though, and she has settled at about 50% of this surge and also 50% of the surge this was originally drawn off of. This seems to be a very strong support. It wants to sit on this and work up from here. And I think with the attention this company's gotten, this, not a short play. Buy this one to get the dividends. Hang on to this and scoop in some free shares from companies that, well, you just don't know what you're going to get. It's a bag of tricks, but it's going to be free and it's value. So that's my first pick of the day. I kind of like this one. SBDG, Small Business Development Group. The next one we're taking a look at is WCIG, WCIG. WCIG International Corporation is at 16.34. That is 16 1/3 cents. They went up 36% today, which was only about 4.5 cents. But it was on the rise, and there was a reason for that. They are pink current, they are on the pink market, they have a verified profile and a transfer agent. Now, I'm not quite sure why they don't say they are a risk, a shell risk, because when you come over here to the financial section, there's really nothing to be seen at all. However, they are coming out of that, which is really why I came over here. You come over to the news, you can see that on the 7th of last month, they launched Easy NFTs. They had acquired an exchange for NFTs. NFTs are getting big, folks. These are a type of crypto, but they're not like a coin. They're not like money. They're not currency. They're more like artwork. They're collectibles. They're statues. They're silver spoons or thimbles. They're little things that get put onto digital media. Could be a video, a song, artwork. We don't know what it's going to be. They've already got a bunch of them out there, and they're selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars because there's only one of them. When you get one, there's one, and you got it. So everybody can see it online, but theirs isn't numbered, so it's worth nothing. You have the one that's worth money. And they have been selling a bunch of this Warhol stuff. They have James C. Mulligan launches stunning one-of-a-kind Warhol tributes. James Surratt launches animated Warhol Maryland tributes. Notice the date on this one, 9/28. And they just keep adding on all these different artists working in the NFT sector. So what sort of volume did they have today? Nothing impressive. Not really. Even though they went up 36%, they had less volume today than they normally do, which tells you that people saw value in the stock. They were willing to trade up with less volume. And what do we have for the share structure? Anything decent? I would say so. They've got 500 million shares they could put on the market, but bless their hearts, they've only put 46 million out there. And the float structure looks to be 8 million shares, which is a very good share structure. Don't get spoiled by these hundreds of thousands or 1 million. 8 million is a very good share structure. So let's go take a look at the chart and see what it's showing for this news for the NFTs and all these artists coming out. So looking at WCIG on TOS, Thinkorswim, we are looking at the 6-month 4-hour chart. And we are way down here. The bump today, that 30% is right there. And no, this is not February. No, this is not the stimulus month. This was the day that actually, back here was the day that they got the exchange. These big jumps here is when all the excitement came in. When they had launched the information, they were going into NTFs. Then this news was when they came out with the Maryland 9.3. Well, 9.7 is when they came out with the information that they had launched Easy NFT. So if this started 9.3, somebody knew something before it happened, because the news before that was on 8.30. Easy Exchange OU acquired by We. So 8.30 is when you would expect this to have jumped. And 8.30 is right in the middle here, right there. So somebody knew something here, and this is when they started selling somebody's name came up or something, but you can see we're down here. But our high here, we hit a high here of 58 cents. And we are at 16 cents now, and they're just getting going. They are just getting going. Everything we just read has happened in the last month and a half. Not even a full 2 months yet, and they're getting the bandwagon going. And as I said, NFTs are big. Now, of course, everybody's working with celebrities, and we think of rock stars and sports stars and things like this. But there's an entirely other market of celebrities with artists and vocals, and I just can't even think of the types of people, maybe writers, authors. Anybody becomes famous if they have followers, and NFTs allows them to get their name out there and see how much it's worth. So let's come in on the 5-day, 5-minute. All right, she had a huge drop here. Can't tell you exactly why. She hit a low bubble for this time period. I guarantee you that's not a low. but she bounced off that low bubble. When people are watching a 5-day, 5-minute chart like this, they're not going to see the low bubble from 52 weeks. They're going to see the low bubble here in this time frame. And when that low bubble was hit and everybody watching the 5-minute chart sees it, lots of people like to buy on a low bubble. If the company has value, they see that as a for sale sign. Hey, look, bargain price. Boom, and people run in and get it. And you can see this jumped right off of that, took off, hit a high bubble. That's pretty much when the 10 SMA started to turn after it hit that high and it went sideways. So it grabbed a lot of momentum off of this. So you've got a low float, you've got NFTs, and you got artists whom I'm not too familiar with, but that doesn't matter. These people pay money, and NFTs, when they go for sale, they don't sell for $30. I mean, I'm sorry, but they make Bitcoin look cheap. Bitcoin's going for $30 a coin. NFTs are going for hundreds of thousands of dollars a coin. So there's the market difference, and one is considered a collectible while the other one is considered, well, currency. So you are auctioning these off and on. So this one has a lot of potential. It is fresh. It's a ground floor with a low float. The company's just got launching less than 2 months ago, and they are getting different NFTs over and over. They are filling the vault with products to sell, and they can create products out of nothing that are going to sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Unbelievable. So I think this has shareholder value in a heck of a lot of ways. The next one we're taking a look at is DRCR. Now, I did show this one to you the other day, but this bears repeating, folks. I've got a really good feeling about this one. This has to do with sports betting, and gambling in America is legal, federally speaking, and every state has the right to decide what they're going to do with it. Right now, over 25 of the states have legal sports betting, while the other 25, half of them have legislation on the books to make it legal. Now, not all of them can gamble online yet, but they can gamble over the phone, they can gamble over in a building, they can place their bets in lots of places. 6 states can go online, and many are trying to get online too. They just need to pass it. They don't have to get federal approval. And this app makes betting quick, simple, and easy. And along with the app, they have a Swifty wallet that merges right with it, so your bets are paid for instantly, and you can use this for all other sorts of features, such as streamlining for buying online, or if you want to send money over SMS or WhatsApp or other communication channels. It's not just a one avenue type of payment facility. So between the two, I think it's going to be very, very big. Now, here's the important factor why I come here. They have a multi-million-dollar campaign that they are going to push once the beta testing is over, and they're going through that right now. And when you put this little simple Tinder app for betting for sports in front of people that they can get it, easy download, swipe, folks, I think it's going to be huge. And today they just came out with some more news. They went and got a trademark, I do believe it was for the UK. Right there, the company is pleased to announce that its first trademark for the UK has now been received. So they are working to protect. They are going to launch. You need a trademark, want people to identify you very easily, like Twitter or Facebook or McDonald's. You just have that logo. They are working on this, and I think it is going to be huge. I really do. And right now, it is not so big. They are at $1.71. They had 10% gains today. They are pink current with a verified profile and transfer agent. So they're in great shape. There is no worry about this company. What was her volume today? She did just a wee bit more than she normally does, 92,000 to 98,000. Not a big kick. What is her share structure? Well, folks, that's something we can brag about now, isn't it? Now, I don't know if it is a 500,000 or if it's 6.5 million. I would love for it to be a 500,000. Oh my goodness. That would just be a Christmas gift. Wow, every time the stock moves, it's going to move fast. That is down as well as up. Keep that in mind. But 6.5 million shares is outstanding. We like that too. What are her financials? Financially speaking, she had a bad 2018. And 2019, not so great, not so bad, relatively speaking, to her previous years. But where's 2020? Well, they did have another app they came out with. It was, I think, geolocation emergency broadband, something like that. Obviously not a big seller. This one though, this one is completely different, and I think it is hot. Folks, I just can't tell you how hot I think this is. Well, I'm trying. Let's go take a look at the chart. DRCR on the 6-month 4-hour, you can see she is kind of thinly traded here. There's many days went by without any trades. You don't see a black between the gray? There was nothing happening that day. It does trade after market and pre-market for an OTC. That can be fun. And we can see there's been a lot of volume build up here. And this all started in the middle of this month. On the 12th of this month, this jump started. Now we hit a low bubble here. It dropped hard. We see that a lot. And we see a low bubble reached when these drops hit. And it climbs back. Now if you were in a hurry, it took about a week before it got back up to where it fell from. You can see that. 1, 2, 3. 3 days. Pardon me. That's a lot of squares. 3 days to get back to its place. And again, it fell. So, you know, sometimes patience is what's really necessary. When you're not looking for stocks to surge, you're waiting for them to grow. You can't keep looking at the flower every day, counting the petals. But we've had some serious growth here. And we've looked at this before. As I said, just a couple of days ago, we looked at it when it should take some big leaps, and it did. And now it looks like it is going to continue growing. Let's come into that 5-minute, 5-day look. So on this schedule here, we did hit a low bubble, and from that low bubble, she climbed all the way to her high bubble, where she took a dip. You can almost always count on a dip or a pullback at least off of a high bubble. She fell hard, but that's only about 50%. From top to bottom, you grab the middle line and you say, if it stays above the middle of that surge, it's not bad. But it normally acts like a ball. When it comes down and hits water, it goes underwater, then comes back up to the top to float. And right down here would be your buy zone. That's your buy zone. And where would you buy in there? Well, you don't buy on the red. Actually, you would buy right about here. You want to see 2 directional change. 2 bars of directional change for a confirmation. That's your buy. If you bought down here, I wouldn't think you were good. I think you were lucky. There's no way to know what direction it's going to go until it goes. But we've got 2 of them here, and it says, well, chances are it should go up. It's going to dip, but if it's going in that direction. So that's where you would buy on that. Now let's see how she finished today. All right, she came in. Let me back out on that better. All right, there we go. So she did a good bounce in the morning. Actually finished that bounce at about 11:15 in the middle of the day. Came down, and from the start of the day, that's more than 50%. So she's stuck. She kept most of her gains, and she's hanging around the 50% mark. Funny how that falls into line with this over here. What is this line? I'm trying to figure. Okay, that is a solid support. We can see that it hits right here, 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 and here. So that's not half of anything. It is sitting on solid structure, and everything sits on that. It likes to stop and change directions right there. So looking at the big chart coming out, we can see that she's had a high of $3.62, and that was all the way back in March. And things are just now getting going with this app. This history really has nothing to do with what the company had going on because, well, they were doing nothing. We saw that they haven't made any money really to talk about. They've just been hanging in there. This is a Babe Ruth swing on a ball, and I think it is going to be a home run. And folks, I think this is going to go out of the park. We are at $1.71 right now. I think it's a 10-bagger. I think when they put the campaign off, if there's one TV commercial anywhere, I think this thing is just going to blow up. That's my feeling. If I've left you any doubt at all, I think this thing's going to go to the moon in due time. Long hold, lots of potential, small float, hot product in a booming new fresh market. Can you give you anything more? Now this is a unique one, ASCC, Aristocrat Group. They're on the expert market. Now the last one I brought up like this was HYEG. It looked like it had a potential of 17,000 to 20,000%. You heard me right, 20,000%. And I said it would probably hit that. What kind of guy does that? Well, the technicals on the chart showed it, but it actually went 89,000%. Swear to God, cross my heart. We found it 12 hours before it hit. This has the same exact setup, and it looks to have a potential of about 11,000% gains. ASCC is on the expert market. They were pulled off because they're late filing. There's no skull and crossbones. They're not dirty. They're not in trouble. They're just late. And when they get the filings caught up and accepted, they'll go back on the market, and that's when the jump happens. And knowing when they're going to go on is the tricky part. Very tricky. We do know that we need one more piece. We have their filings for today for the last 2 quarters, but we don't have an attorney letter. The attorney letter is what makes it legal since they're unaudited and don't have a CPA. Once the attorney letter comes in, then FINRA can accept it and the expert market changes. Can be instantly, can be a couple hours, a day, maybe 2 days. But when it happens, it goes without any forewarning, and you have to be there to catch the jump. And there's no way to put in a good to cancel order. You can't put in a market order, even a limit order, not until it's on the market. And on the OTC, you have to use a limit order to get in. So you got to pick a price higher than the price you see and hope it doesn't bounce past you by the time you hit your button. But it's a lottery ticket that can make you a lot of money. $100 on a stock like this can make you $11,000 if it goes the full run. So what else can we learn about this stock? She do anything today? Well, not really. But we can see she had one sale today that took it up to 003. I should say took it down to 003. She was at 2.5 cents. That was a month ago. Now it's down to 003. When they're off the market, you and I can't buy them, but brokers can, marketers can, and they usually, for some reason, really pull the price down. And when they give it back to us, it's around 000 something. Right now we're at 00. It could come down lower. It's possible, but that is a great starting price for getting some great profit. Now, she didn't have any volume today. What is her share structure? Whoa, folks, boom! Come on. This is where the jumps get huge. We have a 11,000% gain possible on the charts, standing there with 1.3 million shares, maybe 4 million shares in the float. And look, outstanding shares is only 5.6 million out of a 250 million. What sweethearts. So we've got a tremendous float. We have a very good setup here to get back on the market. So let's go see what the chart looks like. 6 month, 4 hour. They had a huge jump here, and their high was 37 cents at that time. Let's get some of that out of there. They had a lot of volume there, whatever it was, and honestly, I don't know what the deal was with it. We're only looking for the bounce back into the real world. And here was the setup we had on HYEG. They hit a low bubble and came out of that. Now this hasn't even come off. Well, it did. Now see, you can barely see that. Our price right now is 0032. The price was at 0014. That's almost 100% gain between here and there. That's right, folks. That's why we like sub-penny stocks. It doesn't take very much movement to make money. So when this 002, let me see, it's at 003. See, you can barely see it going up. It's actually rising right there. The only way you can see that, and I would have to come in, let's see if we can do that here. All right, you can start to see, right? It is actually bouncing. And you can see the more I spread, there are numbers there. So this can grow very, very fast. So let's take a look at her potential. Let's back out a little bit. From her price to 37 cents is 11,000 some odd percent gains. Now, do we expect it to hit that high? Not really. We don't. But I didn't expect it to hit its high on HYEG either. when these things come launching out, and look at that bounce, folks. Whatever happened here, this bounce went from 3.5 cents up to 34 cents. You're talking 1,300% in one day, 1,300% gains in one bounce, one day. That could happen again, except now it's lower. And when you go from here to here, from there to right where it's at, that right there, my friends, that's 1,000% gain right there. And when you get up into here, it's 10,000% gain. So this low price makes this a perfect setup with an ultra low float. All we're waiting for is the attorney letter. You can go there to the OTC markets and keep refreshing the button. It's not real time, you have to refresh, but it'll tell you as soon as that attorney letter comes in. Now that doesn't mean it's gone live, but it means it could anytime. Willing to take a gamble on $100 for 11,000? It's all about getting in. Remember, you gotta bid limit higher than the price. So if the price is right here, folks, at 0032, you may actually want to put in a price of 1 penny. 1 penny. It may come in lower. You may get it at 005. Touche. But if it's moving too fast and you put in 008 and it hit a penny, you missed it, and there ain't a second shot at it. Better to overshoot and have it grab you and get something than to undershoot and get nothing. Now, before we look at the very last stock we're going to look at tonight, let's take a look at what the OTC market did. It was impressive today. Actually, I think we've come out of a deep slump. We did $3.3 billion worth of business. Folks, we haven't been out of the 2.1 billions for the last 10 months. We had 2.5 once and 2.8 once. This is the first time we have been over 3 billion in a long time. Hoorah! Share volume was slow though, 28 billion. 30 billion is a slow day, so that's a little confusing to me. Obviously, more expensive stocks were being bought today. 482,000 trades is much better than the 300,000 plus we've been doing. We do want to get up to 600,000. That's when the market is cranking. Let's take a look at ACMB, Agro Capital Management Corp. $1.39 today. They say they did 178% gains, but you see on the daily volume it says 0. So I'm not real sure about that. They are pink limited, which is why I brought you here. They're going current and they filed some of their filings today. Verified profile, transfer agent, shell risk, not making any money. Let's see. Nope, that is true. They're not making any money, and that's not why we're here. We're here because they did some filings today, and the situation is that they had already done them. The last 2 quarters with the attorney letter was already filed. So all of these people were waiting for this stock to go current, and it didn't happen. That was back on the 5th of this month. So they have amended those 2 filings, and now again we are waiting for that attorney letter. So I expect it to come pretty bloody quick because it was right on the tail of the last ones. So when this goes current, it should get a jump, even though it had a jump today, which I'm not real sure about. We'll take a look at the chart in a second. But first, let's look at the share count. I want you to see this. Look at this, folks. Look at that. Now, I don't know if it's 125,000 or if it's 45,000. You heard me right. I didn't make a typo with my lips. We're talking thousands. 45,000 shares out of 200 million. 45,000. Folks, that's just unbelievable. I can't even imagine that this is actually trading. So, if this moves, they've got to be huge bounces, just giant bounces, and I want to go see the Godzilla on the chart. Well, interesting chart for ACMB. We are actually looking at 6 months, 4 hours. So you can see there is very little trading on this, and there's no telling how long this has been not current, or if they just came out of being expert. Maybe they were even locked up before that. I don't know. But here's that setup again. You were down at a low bubble here, and this was 50 cents. Its very next jump went to $1.35. So you're looking at 85% gains there, something like that. No, 120, 130% gains. So just on that one bounce. And here's our high, folks, $9.80. She's at $1.39. Now, she's already on the market. You can put in a good till canceled. What is her price right now? They're asking $5. Now, I don't put a lot of faith in buys and asks off market hours. What I do, though, is I see down here we have a little stair step. And it looks like you have an average here of about $1.93 to $2.31. So there's like an 80% jump right to this area here. Up here in the middle area, you've got yourself about $5.50. So you're looking at 300% gains. And up here, you would be looking at about 500% gains if it went that far. But it looks like she could do a jump. On the 5-minute, can we see anything? Probably not going to be anything. No, because they said it had no shares. Well, actually, it said shares didn't move, but price went up. Little bit interesting. Let's come back just so I can gander there. What day does it say this happened? That says it happened the 5th. So there was not 178% gains today, though this to there could be that 178%. That could actually average out to that. So this is waiting for a bounce. You can see it set up. Has a super duper low float, folks. I've never seen a float so small in my life. So if you can get into this, there is no telling what sort of bounce it can do. But shareholder value, if you got shares, you get into this, you're going to get some value out of it. I promise you that. Shareholder value. It comes in handy when you're a trader. It comes in handy when you're an investor. Look for them low floats. Look for catalysts that can be projected, like going current. You don't have to wait for a PR for that. Look for companies that are giving dividends. People love dividends, especially when they come in the form of equity stocks. You're going to just watch your stocks grow and grow as they come in. Lots of different ways to make money in the stock market. You don't just have to trade. You can take the value they give you from having small numbers or big gains. It's all about the information and how you analyze it. Remember, the more you know, the more you grow. See you, folks.